friends. Welcome to Race to Rise podcast, a place where we discuss bite sized wisdom nuggets with easy to follow practices to live a better life. I am your host, Mital Patel, a parenting junkie, Ayurveda enthusiast, and an advocate of conscious living. Finding calm in the chaos, right? Finding calm when things are at their most stressful is one of the biggest challenges in parenting. Do you agree? I 100% agree. 200%, in fact, I agree. Because when our emotions take over, we lose self-control. And that's normal. We actually stop thinking rationally and we're not present anymore when it's the heat of the moment, right? During the conflicts. We forget how much we love our children and how vulnerable they are and how, it's our job to make our kids feel safe and protected in this world. All these things don't matter in that moment because there's so much going on internally for us. And so instead of going into the state of mindfulness, we just go into the state of losing our control, right? We lose our self-control and we lose our ability to self-regulate. And this can actually take hours or sometimes days for us to get back into the present moment or into that mindful moment. But guess what? We don't have to do that ever again because today we're going to learn how to find calm when our emotions are spiraling out of the control by learning how can we catch these triggers and what to look for before they even erupt, right? Before the volcano even just go haywire. How can we catch these things and how can we look for the signals in the moment? So the main reason we end up reacting during these chaotic situation is our emotions. Trust me, every parent breaks the promise to not yell at their child, and that's because the stress hormones literally takes our ability to think clearly and to connect with other people. Even if it's with our children. It just makes it so difficult to regulate intense emotions when we feel triggered. So you might get this where we're going. So today we want to look at some reflection questions to find out where the root cause is, because we always go to the root cause. Conscious parenting is always about finding the root cause and what am I going to do next about it, because it's all about asking the questions. It's all about self-care, because conscious parenting is really not a magic pill or it just doesn't happen overnight. It's about the commitment to bringing our self-awareness to the childhood hurts in order to integrate them through love and acceptance of the self. It's all about how aware are we about our triggers and what are we doing about those triggers. So when we feel triggered and tempted to blame, we need to get back and do the self-checking and reflect upon these triggers and identify these. So let's look at some of in today's episode, we're going to discuss 5 reflective questions that you can journal about and dig deep to understand how can we find the calm next time when the chaotic situation happens. So how can I go into the mindfulness state instead of mindlessness state during the conflicts with my child? So the question number 1 is, what are my triggers? Yes, what are my triggers? It's so important for us to identify our biggest triggers during these moments. And triggers are actually, they are nothing but auto responses to sudden changes that result in an uncontrolled emotional state. So when something triggers us, or when something triggers you, you might just say something like, oh, he pushed my buttons, or I just can't stand it when that happens, or I totally lost my cool when blah 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 happened, or when you did this, or I acted like a crazy person even though I knew better. So these are some of the things that these are the this is like a side effect of the triggers. This is how we express them. And most of us have experienced being triggered one point or the other. Actually more frequently on a daily basis, probably a few times a day. So by identifying our triggers, we can increase our levels of self-awareness and improve our relationship with our children, our partner, our relatives, our parents, teachers, anyone else in our, in our life. So it is so important to identify. So now just journal it out. What are your biggest triggers? Second question is, when am I most prone to being triggered? Yes, it's so important for us to also understand when are we most prone to being triggered. So like, for example, is it when my child cries, or is it the instinct to nurture and soothe, or that crying is just nothing but a trigger, and which could be coming up as various thoughts in your mind. So like, for example, I am failing as a parent, I can't help my child, or I just don't know how to help my child. It could be that you're thinking like, what's all this fuss about? Nothing has happened. Or is it even deep rooted that in my family crying was just sign of a weakness? Right? Things like that, or crying is for babies, or boys don't cry, he'll grow up weak, he has to become a real man. Things like that. These are some of the thoughts that, like, literally thoughts just are crossing your mind. So is this a reason that it's triggering? Is this triggering you? The crying is triggering you because there is some mindset, or there's some fear that you are failing as a parent. So there could be so many reasons. So this is one of the things that you can reflect on. Question number 3 is, what are my recurring thoughts, memories, or feelings that surface when I feel triggered? So it could be similar like to what we said earlier. Is this taking you in your childhood? So like, okay, in my family, crying was a sign of weakness. When you cried as a child, were you shushed down? Were you looked at as, hey, you're being weak. This is not a sign of a strong girl or a strong boy. The boys don't cry. Things like that. Is this coming from the childhood pattern? What is this about? So journal it about, reflect on that. Question number 4 is, do I take care of myself in a committed way? This is a very big question. Whenever you come across these triggers, or whenever you're in the heat of the moment, have you ever asked, even if it's after you burst, like, what are my needs? Like, we parents just don't end up asking ourselves, like, what are my needs? What are my desires? What do I want? We get so busy busy with our complex lives. Like, we're just so much into maintaining our complex lives that we forget to take care of ourselves. But it's so important to take good care of ourselves. It's as important, I would say it's just as important to take good care of your child. It's vital that you practice that same level of care with yourself, right? It just helps us. It helps our mind and heart stay tuned to our needs and our kids' needs. And this will eventually lead to less reactivity on your part. So it's so important for us to take care. So ask yourselves, like, am I taking care of myself? And question number 5 is, do I have any rituals that fill me with love and connection? Rituals are actually a big part of my lifestyle. They're so important. In Ayurveda, we love how our lifestyle is based on the rituals that you practice. Rituals are nothing but the small practices that you are practicing on a daily basis to take care of yourself, to nourish your mind, body, and soul. So this could be practicing gratitude. This could be doing a little meditation. This could be going for a walk. This could be anything, enjoying the warm tea without any distractions, without checking your emails, without texting anyone, without being on the phone. Am I really enjoying my tea? The rituals could be just, doing a prayer. The ritual could be just doing my yoga on anything. This could be anything. So ask yourself, do I have any rituals that fill me with love and connection? Connection with yourself, connection with your child. We have a family ritual of prayers in the evenings. Just want to share for an idea that the rituals doesn't even have to be with yourself. It could be with your kids. So we have a family ritual of evening prayers. So every day at 7 p.m. we have our evening prayer time. And after that, we have a little family time. Like literally, it doesn't have to be more than, 10 minutes. It could be even 5 minutes. Just to pray together, chit chat together, just to check in with each other. That's all you need. You're connecting with each other, right? Without your devices, without any distractions. So ask yourself these 5 questions and journal about and see where this leads you. See if these questions help you with your triggers and help you find that calm before you erupt the next time. So again, let's recap the 5 reflection questions that we talked in today's episode about finding the calm in the chaotic situation. Number 1, what are my biggest triggers? Number 2, when am I most prone to being triggered? Number 3, what are the recurring thoughts, memories, or feelings that surface when I feel triggered? Number 4, do I take care of myself in a committed way? And number 5, do I have any rituals that fill me with love and connection? So, my friend, ask these 5 questions to yourself and find the answer to be in that calm state. Get into that mindfulness state instead of mindlessness state with your child. And this is how we practice and this is how we stay committed to the conscious parenting path.
That's it for this week's episode of Raise to Rise. Be sure to sign up to our email list at risewithmittal.com and join us again next time for more wisdom about life, kids, and everything in between. I am Mittal Patel, wishing you happy raising and rising.